Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. To grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. Today, we're going to be going over some WoW news, as there's been a lot of WoW news that has come out over the recent months since I last did one of these. So, we're going to be delving into sort of the bigger stuff. Now, obviously, there is so much news that won't all get covered, but I'll be looking at the more main points from retail at the moment, and a little bit into TBC Classic and stuff like that. But obviously, we have the weekly stuff to go through. So the world boss for this week is Morgeth and Aranamonos. So Morgeth being the stable point at this point, Aranamonos being the one that is weekly. So make sure you head over there if you need a conduit from Aranamonos. Specifically, make sure you pop over there, pick that up, or a legendary like that. The brawl for this week is the Shadowpan Showdown. You're thrown into a 5v5 arena where you have to kill a boss from the other team, and basically you have to control a certain area to activate this boss. So PvP mixed with PvE. It's not a bad sort of brawl. It's very quick, it's quite fun, and it's not too sort of hectic. We have Cataclysm Time Walking this week. So honestly, probably my favourite time walking. I do enjoy the Cata dungeons more than most. Cata dungeons are quite, they fly under the radar quite a bit. So Cataclysm time walking, don't miss out if you want them time walk badges to purchase some goodies. But if not, skip it. It's not going to be the end of the world if you do. And we have the Lunar Festival ending the beginning of next week. And we also have Lovers in the Air that began this week or the start of this week. So make sure you try and get that mount, the rocket from the boss for Lovers in the Air. Make sure you get all of your lunar coins if you are doing the achievement. You only have a few days left to do it. But make sure that you get everything that you want to be done in these holidays because they won't be here forever and certainly won't be here for long. These are some of the shorter holidays throughout the year, I will say that. But where do we start? So we'll obviously start off with 9.2 being announced. Its release date being announced today, the day of this recording, but obviously yesterday. So we got the news earlier on, and 9.2 is being released on the 22nd of February. Now, a lot of people thought that this was the most optimal date, mainly because it coincided with the AWC season when Mythics, Mythic Pluses and stuff like that. I forget what they're called, I'm not going to lie. Where they stream the high level Mythic fixes, stuff like that. It coincided with that really well with the release of the raid and stuff like that. I just said that a lot. I do apologize. So here's what you'll find in the patch, pretty much. These are the patch features. You have obviously the new zone, Zereth Mortis. It looks very nice. It's got different sort of biomes to it. It's got desert. It's got lush green fields. It's got, quite a lot of diversity to the zone. And this is because it is where creation was made. This is sort of a sandbox, as it were, for the first ones, where they could create so many different things in this place that they brought it into the real world. It's their sandbox. It's their mistakes that you can see, like when you're running about in Zereth Mortis, and it's their, exceptional. I'm forgetting the words. The words are eluding me right now. It's their, when they succeed, it's their successes that you can see in this zone. But like I said, along with their failures, so you can see multiple different biomes, and it looks nice. It looks nice. You have a new progression system, which is Cypher of the first ones. If you just heard me hit my spacebar, I do apologize. But you have Cypher of the first ones. Now, the Cypher is going to be something that isn't player related, according to the WoW devs. This is yet to be seen, but from what we've seen on the PTR, it doesn't look like it will do anything in terms of player power. So it won't give you better gear. It won't give you like Azerite traits where it gave you different powers and improved your character. It won't do any of that. It will just improve maybe some quality of life stuff within the zone of Zereth Morn. That is it. You have the new boss. New boss, obviously, you're going to get new bosses. New raid, Sepulchre of the First Ones. This is an 11 boss raid, so not too bad. I think it's the longest raid. Shadowlands? I feel like I'm wrong there. I feel like it's one or two differ, but 11 bosses seems very decent, very good. You have obviously the new Mythic Plus season, so the different seasonal affix, which is not Tormented, it's something different. I forget what it is. But you have a new Torghast wing called Jailer's Gauntlet. I'm not sure what this is, but I really hope it's where you can just speed run. I hope it's a speed run thing, because the Gauntlet sounds, like you got to go through it quite fast. You got something chasing you, kind of like you've just got a straight line and you've got mobs in front of you. You've got to kill these mobs quick enough before something catches up to you. I really hope that's sort of what it is, because it puts you under pressure in Torghast, and Torghast needs something, to be honest. It has the potential to be so good. I enjoyed Twisting Corridors. I'm a boomkin. I enjoy Twisting Corridors. But it just never really clicked with every class. That's the sad thing. Obviously, you have the return of class tier sets. Now, these are going to be obtainable from multiple sources through the Vault, crafting, raiding, stuff like that. So if you do only want to PvP, it might take you a bit longer to get these, but you can get them through your Vault. Double legendaries. This is one Covenant legendary and one normal one. They have been nerfing some of the Covenant legendaries due to this being a thing. So I know Kyrian Boomkin is getting hit, or just Kyrian in total for druids. You have Priest Maldraxxus, which is mainly aimed at Shadow Priests, because that's all they use pretty much. You have a couple others that I can't quite remember. I'm pretty sure Vesper Totem or something got hit quite a little bit. But, double legendaries is going to be fun. There's going to be so many wacky things that people will come up with different classes that I'm pretty sure someone will find something OP. And it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We have the Solo Shuffle. It's a new PvP brawl to test Arena Solo Queue. And I say test, they actually put it in the wording here. New PvP brawl to test Arena Solo Queue. So they can alter this going into the next expansion so that you're not in looking for group. Because let's face it, the looking for group system is not the best. It is awful. It's not fun to use. You don't necessarily get any enjoyment out of it. The Arena Solo Queue will put you in a bracket, a rating bracket of where you belong, and it will, do its job. It will get you somewhat decent players around your level. Obviously, it depends if you get a good composition or not. That's the thing what Arena is based around, or partly based around. If you have a good composition, then you have 10 times as easier like Arena than if you had two Boomkins in the same composition. Like, it's just not going to work, is it? It's going to be very tough and very awkward and stuff like that, because you're going to be diminishing returning everything on your crowd control and stuff like that. So we only have to wait and see with Solo Shuffle. Hopefully it will improve, and you can maybe choose to specify what classes that you're going to join with, and that would be something. Actually, you can specify what classes that you as a class would like to play with. So Shadow Priest, or Demon Hunter, or Warrior, Paladin, Monk, anything. But you get to specify, and if you want to specify really specific comps, then you're going to be waiting a little bit longer, but you can definitely get that comp. You can. So hopefully this will help with the looking for group stuff, but we only have to wait and see. Obviously, with a new patch, you have a new pets, mounts, toys, transmogs, and secrets, it's saying. Different secrets are stuff like in Korthia, where you can find different chests, hidden rare mobs, and stuff like that. And you have a new sub profession called Perform Synthesis. I'm not sure what this is. I'm really not sure what this is. I had a thought about what it was before, and I read about it, but I just can't remember. So we're going to have to wait and see with that one, to be honest. So this is obviously what is within the new patch. This is what's within 9.2. I will be going over a little bit more in terms of the raid and the PvP seasons and stuff like that. But I do want to quickly hop to Season of Mastery. Now, obviously, with Season of Mastery, there is not much going on constantly, but the latest phase has dropped for Season of Mastery, and that being Blackwing Lair. So make sure that your guild are prepared for it. Make sure you got your gear, your consumables, and everything for Blackwing Lair. There's different raid mechanics and stuff, so definitely don't get caught out by that. That being said, I do want to say this is a little bit old, so maybe a couple weeks and stuff like that, or just under a couple weeks. But the guild, as soon as it came out, as soon as this Blackwing Lair came out, the Season of Mastery, a guild cleared Blackwing Lair in 47 minutes. As soon as it was dropped, the current content for Season of Mastery was cleared in 47 minutes. Imagine if they dropped a patch, imagine if they dropped to 9.2 and you could do every single bit of content in 47 minutes of game time. There would be an uproar. There would be an absolute uproar from the player community saying this isn't enough content and stuff like that. So I'm not going to lie, Season of Mastery, it's very tough to keep along with. I would love to see them do so much more with Encourage and Naxxramas. Naxxramas especially, they could add so many things because you've got all of the different mechanics, or at least like maybe a few mechanics that can differ from like Wrath of the Lich King Naxxramas. Like, they might not have added it in Wrath of the Lich King, but they probably had ideas to do so and stuff like that. So I really hope they switch it up with Encourage and Naxxramas. I really hope that they go crazy with mechanics and just completely change the raid entirely. Keep the bosses, obviously, but completely change the raid entirely. Give it a completely different outlook. I would absolutely love it, because that would give some life to Season of Mastering, I feel. I don't think that they will do it. I think they'll keep them relatively normal with a few minor mechanics added here and there, and they will look to see what's happening after Naxxramas. That will be where they can, go a bit crazy with things. So, along with this, some free character transfers for Season of Mastery as well. So, there's a couple that are a bit different. So, Bone Scythe and Iron Foe, you can transfer from, and you can go to Dreadnought as the realm. So I'm guessing Dreadnought is a little bit undermanned at the moment. And Quosara to Kingsfall is the normal is the normal realm that you can switch between. And there are restrictions to this. So character cannot move if the character is a guild leader, has active auctions, listings or bids, obviously, has mail. You may be required to change your character name once you've reached your destination realm, because same name as someone, obviously. You cannot move a character to a PvP realm where you already have a character belonging to the opposite faction, because you weren't allowed to have Horde characters and Alliance characters on the same realm back in Classic. And this is one way, obviously, you cannot go back once you have committed to this transfer. Now, this is the same for TVC Classic. There is a massive migration of players heading to and from different realms at the moment. And from what I gather, from what I want them to do, is probably close down a couple of these realms. Because some of these realms are just dead. Honestly, some of these TBC realms are just absolutely dead. You have realms like Earthshaker, who are 99% alliance populated, and you have like Lucifron, who's 99% horde populated. Like, how is that fun for anyone? Honestly, you don't get any satisfaction. These are PvP realms. These are bloody PvP realms. Like, honestly, how do you get any satisfaction out of just being the only faction in that realm? You're essentially losing half of the game because you can't interact with anyone from the opposite faction. You can't fight them in world PvP. Half of the world isn't being used because of stuff like quests. Half of the world, like half or all of the cities, the Alliance cities, aren't being used. It's absolutely madness. I hope that they try and, correct these realms. Maybe entice people to join them for whatever reason. I don't know, but I would like to see the population of some realms be a bit even. To be honest, I just don't see how any sort of realm can continue like that, and it would eventually die out. And the people that are playing the game on them realms wouldn't want to pay for a character transfer. So you maybe just have to help them out and get off the realm. I don't know. It causes the players or the player base to lose more players. And WoW without more players is boring. It's not fun at all for anyone, whether you're a retail player, Season of Mastery player, or WoW Classic player. It's not fun for anyone. You want a diverse and vibrant world where you're constantly seeing people, but you want to have that community in, say, like Classic or Season of Mastery. But I don't know. That's why I like retail a lot more at the moment, is because it feels more alive and vibrant, because I'm constantly seeing people with the obviously cross-realm stuff and everything. But in TBC, once you realise that your realm is dying, you really realise it. You see a lot more people, or you see a lot less people in the cities. You see a lot less people like out and about. You might see one or two people levelling throughout your entire leveling process if you're going from 0 to 60. Like, honestly, the WoW transfers, they try to entice people to jump ship so that they can close down servers. Not everyone jumps ship, and this means that they have to keep these servers open. And it's sad to see, because, some people who have grown up on that realm from the very start of like Classic or something, it's tough to see that realm die. Very tough to see that realm die, but it happens. Alright, well, the sad part's over. So let's get into the raid and the PvP side of retail. So obviously you have Sepulchre of the First Ones. So pursue Zoval's forces into the Sepulchre of the First Ones and prepare for the most epic Shadowlands raid yet. And that about every raid, so we'll wait and see. Coming at the start of Season 3, the Jailer has breached the Sepulchre, the mysterious heart of the Shadowlands. Should he control its primordial power, he will reshape the cosmos with death at the fore. As Zoval prepares to dominate reality, champions of Azeroth charge forth to stop him. Will they resolve outmatch his? Yeah, all that. So, raid bosses, 11. You have, obviously, all the difficulties. You have Raid Finder, Normal, Heroic, and Mythic. And you need to be at least 220 minimum item level to enter. The raid unlock schedule, here it is. So March 1st is when Normal and Heroic difficulties will be unlocked. These are with exceptions. So Lords of Dread, right? Rygalon and the Jailer will not be available in the first week at all. They will not be. March 8th, the remaining 3 bosses will unlock in Normal and Heroic, and all bosses are available for Mythic. So that's interesting. Raid Finder Wing 1 will be the Vigilant Guardian, Skolex, and Insatiable Ravager, Artificer, Zymox, and Halodrius the Reclaimed bosses become available. So there's a lot of bosses in Wing 1. Oh my god, I just realised that. There's a lot. So they've never done this before. the last 3 bosses for Heroic and Normal will be available at the same week Mythic is released. So there will be world first guilds going for Mythic, like world first, who have not even seen the mechanics of the last 3 bosses. That is huge. Because I don't even know. So I kind of want to think that this is so that it gives EU a chance in the Race to World First. Because in the Race to World First, NA obviously have the day extra to progress Mythic. And this is a lot tougher on, EU players who get the patch a day later on the Wednesday and they get it on the Tuesday. So at least EU can be looking at the Race to World first, seeing the Mythic bosses, and if people get to that Mythic boss that no one has experienced yet, they will still see the mechanics and can plan around it before they even get to it. So this might be something that, Blizzard have looked into and thought, okay, this might make it a little bit fairer because it is an unofficial Race to World First. I say unofficial, it has become a big thing within the community of World of Warcraft to see who gets this world first, Mythic Jailer kill, or Mythic Sire Denathrius kill, or Mythic Sylvanas Windrunner kill. It's been like that since Legion, maybe Warlords of Draenor. I think it's Legion where Mythic was added. So it's been like this throughout the entire time, and this is the first time that they've ever done this. So I'm kind of hoping that it's to give EU maybe a fairer chance at the Mythic stage, because starting a day later than your opposition is like starting 10 meters behind someone in a 100-meter sprint. It's not going to be fun. They've got 90 meters to go. You have 100, and you've got to make up that time. It's not fun. Not fun at all. March 22nd, so a couple weeks after, you have the Raid Finder Wing 2 come out. This is I can't even pronounce that name. Dulce again, I think. The Fallen Oracle, Prototype Pantheon, Dehavim. Yeah, I think so. And Principal Architect. Raid 3 is on April the 5th. This is Raid Finder Wing 3. Domination Scrubs, you have Anduin, Lords of Dread, and Rygalon. And then finally, on April 19th, you have the Grand Design. The Jailer becomes available, the final boss of the expansion. Yeah. 9.2, the final raid. I don't know. Shadowlands could have been amazing. Shadowlands could have been absolutely amazing, but it's a patch too short. Really is. Maybe they just want to rip off the band-aid and go to the next expansion. They really need to. They really do need to. So, with regards to PvP and stuff like this. So, Shadowlands Season 3 start times. You obviously have PvP Season 3 and Mythic Plus Season 3. Start on the 8th or the 1st of March, 8 a.m. PST. And obviously for EU players, this will be the 2nd of March, 8 a.m. CET. So, Shadowlands PvP, or Season 2, the current season of Shadowlands will end at 10 p.m, the night before maintenance in each region. So, this is February 21st for North America and February 22nd for EU. With the season end, it will no longer be possible to earn PvP seasonal rewards titles or Shadowlands Season 2 ranking. And the same for Mythic Plus. Current season of Mythic Plus will end before the maintenance, so February 22nd, with the season's end ratings that qualify for the 0.1% of the Tormented Hero title, and achievement will be recorded. The Tormented Hero will be rewarded during the following weeks after the season ends, so be sure not to change factions until you have received the title, because a bit weird, but yeah. For 1 week following the end of season, we will have an off season. Once the off season ends, Shadowlands Season 3 will begin on the week of March 1st with the weekly reset in each region. PvP off-season is basically players can still queue for rated PvP and earn appropriate rewards, but PvP leaderboards will be locked, so nothing really changes. Mythic Plus off-season, Mythic Plus dungeons will still be playable during Season 2 affixes, Mythic Plus ratings will still be accumulated, and the seasonal achievements will still be available, except for the top 0.1%, the Tormented Hero title and achievement. So, yeah, very straightforward, but it's basically a week off where you sort of get some downtime. It's kind of like, multiple countries have like sports where they have, seasonal breaks and stuff like that. This is kind of like that. Now, the biggest news, the biggest news that there could possibly be. Now, this dropped a while ago. This dropped when, like a couple of weeks ago, when Blackwing Lair released for Season of Mastery. Cross-faction dungeons, raids, and PvP coming in patch 9.2.5. This will be insane, and I cannot wait for this. So, the summary. Guilds will remain single faction. Random match-made activities will also remain same faction. All raids, dungeons, and rated PvP will be cross-faction, bearing some exception raids with faction-specific components, such as Battle for Dazar'alor and Icecrown Citadel, the gunboat. Group Finder will be cross-faction. However, the group leader may choose to restrict it to the same faction if you wish, and you can directly invite members of the opposite faction to a party with battle tag, or if you're part of a cross-realm faction. This is huge. So, I don't know what to say. I'm already smiling. I'll go into the blue post about this. So, for years now, many players have questioned whether the rules restricting communication and cooperation between Alliance and Horde need to be absolute. The faction divide could keep close friends from playing together, or cause players to feel that their faction leaves them far fewer opportunities to pursue their favourite group content. But these downsides have long been justified in order to preserve a central element of Warcraft universe. It all began with a game titled Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, right? But, to quote a one-time war chief of the Horde, times change. I am pleased to announce that we are working on adding the ability for Alliance and Horde players to form pre-made parties together for dungeons, raids, and rated PvP. Oh my god. I'm so happy about this. I was smiling just reading that part. There have been 2 decades worth of code and content crafted with the assumption that parties can only have players of a single faction, and while we want to make this feature available as soon as possible, we extend the extent of the change means that it couldn't be ready in time for the upcoming Eternity's End content update. Instead, we are planning to test and release it as part of a subsequent 9.2.5 update. We are eager to hear your feedback about the details we're sharing today and on the details of our implementation when the feature becomes available to public test following the release of Eternity's End. Oh my god, this is so good. In crafting the rule set for this new feature, we were guided by 2 goals. Focus on organised instance gameplay. Dungeons, raids, and rated PvP have been at the centre of the most compelling arguments for relaxation faction divide. This is content that, by definition, requires a pre-made group, and thus social barriers will have the greatest negative impact on people's abilities to access these experiences on their preferred terms. Make this an opt-in feature as much as possible. In terms of the in-world fiction and player preferences, there are decades of animosity to overcome. While we are excited to offer players the chance to reach across the faction divide and cooperate to overcome common foes, we know that there are many who will react warily to this change, and we don't want to override these preferences. This is about increasing options to players. Okay, there is more. There is a lot more, but just I'll stop there, but yeah. This is huge. This is absolutely huge in terms of World of Warcraft going forward. There are raiding guilds that have like Mythic Plus guilds, you know, the best guilds in the world that obviously a lot play Horde because Horde have better racials, or they might play Alliance because they have better racials for this certain raid, or whatever. You have a lot of PvP people who go Horde because the Horde racials for PvP are insanely better. Just overall better, I would say. So I notice it a lot more when I do PvP. I look for a healer or a DPS to do some quick 3v3s, and there's, say, 10 groups available on Alliance. I log over to a Horde character. There's 50 groups. You have 5 times as many groups looking for people. That's insane. So this is what they're addressing by giving us this option, because you have 60 options if you put these two together. Now, obviously, the Horde are saving PvP a lot. I'm not going to lie. But it allows you to make the choice and to actually enjoy the game more, because you're not stuck in queues. You're not stuck looking for a group when there's only 10 groups available and you can't even, and none of them groups actually want your class. Whereas out of 60 groups, you might have 1 or 2 that might want your class and might want you in their group. So you have more choice, you have more opportunities. You're not sat there for about half hour, looking for group queue, just doing whatever. I can't express how good this will be for World of Warcraft. People have been crying out for this for years. Since BlizzCon, since someone asked the question, will there ever be a Horde and Alliance sort of mix? And the devs actually said at the time, never, or something along them lines, like it wouldn't happen. It's basically what it is built upon, like World of Warcraft, Horde and Alliance. But it's so good to see them doing this. This is a massive step forward in terms of changing World of Warcraft for the better. So it's been very bad recently for WoW, Blizzard, etc. A lot of things have to have changed. And there's a lot of people that are getting their voices heard at Blizzard, from what I've heard anyway. There's a lot of people getting their voices heard at Blizzard that weren't previously getting their voices heard. It was shut down immediately and stuff like that. This probably comes with their voices being heard now. So here we go. I've found the actual quote. So at BlizzCon in 2019, when an attendee asked about cross-faction play, we responded at the time that Alliance and Horde separation is a pillar of what makes Warcraft Warcraft. But upon reflection, that's an oversimplification. Alliance and Horde identity is what is fundamental to Warcraft. Now that is perfect. That is absolutely amazing. It's basically them saying, we kind of messed up here. We did kind of mess up. We kind of take that on the chin, and we understand that we understand that we were wrong in saying that Horde and Alliance separation is what makes World of Warcraft. They're saying that they are wrong in this instance, and that's very good. That is very good of them. It obviously took them 3 years to figure it out, but it's very good, and cross-faction is going to be so huge for the game. Oh my god. Just what I've been seeing in-game recently is, if I'm not playing with friends or whatever, it's so grueling to drag yourself through looking for group. I look at the comments on all of these things, and Warcraft comments aren't necessarily the friendliest place to be. A lot of them are shit. A lot of them are just, slagging them off, Blizzard and stuff like that. But the amount of overwhelming positive comments about this feature alone is really heartening to see. And this is where they can turn it around with 9.2.5 going into the next expansion, looking to improve upon the cross-faction play. Now, it won't be flawless in 9.2.5. It'll be a bit buggy maybe and stuff like that, but this is a 10.0 feature, but they're bringing it forward to say, look, we are doing this, but you're going to have to bear with us. This might be a slow process, that kind of thing. So I'm more than happy for them to test it out like earlier on. And I imagine that it would be in a 10.0, they're bringing it forward just to have something to talk about in the 9.2.5 patch. My little notebook, I'm sorry if you had that. But I've got to end it there because that is such a high to end it on. Like, I saw this news 10 days ago-ish. I was obviously going to do a news about it, but I was kind of holding off till this week because I felt as if the 9.2 patch was going to be pulled out, which very lucky that it was. I've got to end it there because of how such a high note that is, and it can only look to get better going forward. Hopefully it is the turnaround of the downfall of World of Warcraft, but hopefully it ascends from here. Can't get any worse, let's face it. Famous last words. But thank you all very much for listening as always. Be sure to check out all of the social medias, YouTube, the Twitch, everything. Go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all.